Good evening, everyone. It is Wednesday, April 1st, which means it is the first poem of National Poetry Month. So we're excited to keep this thing going. Welcome to everyone who is your first time checking out the poem of the day. Hello to my students, hello to my colleagues, hello to my fellow teachers, hello to everyone who might be here. Thank you for joining us as we jump into April. April is here, which it's a thing that's happening. April. So I want to share a poem with you today. I'm excited to share a poem with you today. Doubling up again on my poets. This is a poem by Taylor Mali. Last week, I think my second or third poem of the day I read was How Falling in Love is Like Owning a Dog. And this time, I'm going to share a poem. It's arguably not his most famous poem. That's probably what teachers make. And if you don't know that particular poem, you should check it out on YouTube. I have very little shame left in this world and this life, but that's a poem that I don't necessarily know I could even do justice, even with I'd be happy to share the writing, but I would absolutely direct anyone who wants to see his most famous, arguably his most famous poem, to YouTube, where you can check out his multiple readings of What Teachers Make. And if you don't know what YouTube is, we have bigger problems, because unless I'm sorely mistaken, this is how you're watching me right now. So, in any event, I mentioned last time Taylor Mali was a classroom teacher. He was also the voice of Burger King. He was a multiple-time National Slam poetry champion. And just a really fascinating individual. I think Mr. McCarthy has a fun story about Taylor Mali after a reading one day or one evening. So I wanted to bring this poem to you. It's called Undivided Attention. And as exciting, one of the things you so frequently hear about these light bulb moments when, being a teacher is all about the light bulb moment, and that's wonderful. That's great. The light bulb moment is a really unique experience that, much like I guess like runner's high, sometimes even like the best teachers might not experience that, right? Like everything kind of has to be going right for a runner to experience runner's high. Similarly, the light bulb moment, everything has to, there's got to be something cosmic going on. Even the best teachers maybe don't have the luxury of getting that light bulb moment all the time, which is, that's how the world works sometimes. So the light bulb moment is great, but I remember one of my educational mentors. I was fortunate enough to take a couple classes, both as undergrad and both as an undergrad and at the graduate level at BC. And I remember early on, I was speaking with my wife about this today. She kind of let us know, like the greatest thing that one of the most sincere pleasures, especially as an ELA teacher, is when a student learns how to speak for themselves. And sometimes that means developing their own voice. Sometimes that means just simply asking a question, raising their hand. Like it's hard raising your hand and asking a question in class sometimes. That I think is the thing that I really kind of seek. I want my students to have an environment where they feel comfortable enough to share their own experience, because you can't force someone to share their own experience, and you should never be asking someone else to speak on behalf of a larger group to which they may or may not belong. So, that being said, this poem, the What Teachers Make is it's just a wonderful poem. I would never try to read that out loud. I don't think, not certainly not for something like this. But that in some ways, and then with, this is certainly no disrespect to that poem, it's that's like the light bulb moment of teaching. Like, it makes me feel good when I read what teachers make. And this poem in particular, it feels more along the lines of like what I'm looking for, in terms of trying to achieve that safe environment for every single one of my kids, who deserves to be seen and deserves to be heard, and deserves to know and feel like they matter. That's one of the things that I'm really, like, very badly missing right now, the opportunity to kind of remind everyone that, hey, I see you, hey, I hear you, you matter, you're important. I miss my students very, very much, very, very, very much. And I'm hoping all of the measures that we're taking can allow us to be back in the classroom together again as soon as possible. I'm boring you, but I know that a handful of you are checking these videos out, so thanks for sticking with me if you're still here. So this is a poem that to me feels more along the lines of what I'm looking for and what I'm looking to offer as a teacher. And I'll take a light bulb moment every once in a while because they feel great and they're awesome. But this is Taylor Mali's Undivided Attention. A grand piano, wrapped in quilted pads by movers, tied up with canvas straps, like classical music's birthday gift to the criminally insane, is gently nudged without its legs out an 8th floor window on 62nd Street. It dangles in April air from the neck of the mover's crane, Chopin, shiny black lacquer squares and dirty white crisscross patterns hanging like the second to last note of a concerto played on the edge of the seat, the edge of tears, the edge of 8 stories up going over. It's a piano being pushed out a window and lowered down onto a flatbed truck. And I'm trying to teach math in the building across the street. Who can teach when there are such lessons to be learned? All the greatest common factors are delivered by long-necked cranes and flatbed trucks, or come through everything, even air, like snow. See, snow falls for the first time every year, and every year my students rush to the window as if snow were more interesting than math, which of course it is. So please, let me teach like a Steinway, spinning slowly in April air, so almost falling, so hinderingly dangling from the neck of the mover's crane, so on the edge of losing everything. Let me teach like the first snow falling. It is such an honor and a privilege to spend time with you, my students, in class every day, even when we're doing things that might seem a little boring, even when we are doing things that aren't super fun, even when we're writing a common assessment or taking a reading check. And as I'm so super fortunate because of all of the things that I'm getting to see that I normally wouldn't get to see with my little guy at home, and all the time that I'm getting to spend with my wife, who's wonderful, and even my pup, who's sick of us being home all day. I miss you guys a whole lot. And I struggle in I struggle in situations where I can't find the words to describe how I'm feeling, because that's, kind of what I've been spending a long time cultivating and working on. I'm struggling. I'm struggling without getting that chance to see you guys every day. And the same obviously goes for my immensely talented, super professional, just total rock star coworkers and colleagues. I feel as though I've taken up enough of your time today, and I want to thank you if you're still with me. And we will be back with another edition of Poem of the Day tomorrow. And thanks. Keep being good to yourself. Keep maintaining your social distance, so hopefully we can get back in the classroom before the school year's out, because I would very much like to see you guys all in the same place at the same time and not have you be tiny little square heads that I can only see like 12 or 16 of you at a time. Take care. Wash your hands, be good to each other, and we will see you again tomorrow for another edition of the Poem of the Day. Have a good evening.